again, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Daily December 2019. This is day 16, and I'm behind. Um, Today, um, I have told stories and mentioned my first um, major character that I played in the Adventures League, a shadow monk named Aether, that I originally built to be my character if I ever got the chance to play with Vox Machina. Uh, well, I've talked about him so much. I thought it might be fun if I actually show you guys the character, the most recent character sheet I use for Aether. Now, I haven't played Aether in well over a year. It might be two now. And because of changes to how the Adventures League works, where you basically have to make a brand new character every season. I'm probably never going to be able to play Aether again. This version of Aether again. Um, but I have a soft spot in my heart for him. He was he wasn't my first uh, uh, D&D character I ever played. If I can find the character sheet, because I had a digital copy of it, if I can find the character sheet, I may try and show you guys my old Eladrin sword mage from 4th edition. Um, but this is the first one that I got to play from a low level to a high level. Again, he started at 5th level. Um, but yeah, I got him all the way to level 17. Um, Almost exclusively through actually playing him in games. I jumped from 10 to 11 using the downtime, and I think I jumped 16 to 17 doing this is the same thing, and tossed a little bit of the DM experience on him. But I played him a lot. I loved him. So yeah, let's go to the sheet itself. So this is Aether. Like I said, he's a level 17 monk with a shadow. He is a criminal background. I can't remember if I ever told his backstory, but basically, the original backstory that I just barely modified for him was he was an Eladrin actually, which in the Adventurers League eventually turned into him being a high elf when he was first made, because that's the closest to a Eladrin. But he was a Eladrin that lived in a society where magic was very important, and he had no natural magical talents. Um, and neither did his family, so they basically gave him to this group called the Way of Shadow, who would teach him monk abilities, so that he could at least make it look like he had some magical abilities. And the Way of Shadow was a guild of assassins. And on his graduation day, what ended up happening is he went out with a few other students, and they had a target they had to assassinate. It wasn't until he actually got to the place where he was assassinating the person that he realized that the person he was supposed to assassinate was his mother. I actually have a video of this on the channel somewhere. So he attempts to fight off the other monks, kills the other two students, but there was a master monk that went with them. He basically stunned Aether and went over and killed his mother in front of him. And Eladrin have this innate ability to Misty Step, or in 4th edition it was Face Stepping. They can teleport. So his latent magical abilities activated, and he Misty Stepped really far away, ran away, could never return, because the Way of Shadow would come and try to kill him, and had to learn to support himself through the only thing he knew how to do, which was assassinate people. So that's why he's a criminal. He's actually a criminal assassin. And before they took away the ability for characters in the Adventurers League to be a part of the different factions, he was actually a member of the Lords Alliance, which he was simply because they were rich, and the only people that could afford his services were rich people. So that's where he kind of came from. This is the actual sheet here. This stuff I can't remember. These are all basic traits that when you look at the criminal background, these are example traits they give you. So I literally just picked ones that kind of fit and built the backstory off of them. So I'm incredibly slow to trust because the last people he trusted killed his mom. Chains are meant to be broken, as are those who would forge them. He has an issue with authority because the last authority he worked with killed his mom. There's a lot that comes back to killing his mom. Someone I love died because of a mistake I made. That'll never happen again. Self-explanatory. And then a scandal prevents me from ever going home. That kind of trouble seems to follow me around. He can never go home. And the Way of Shadow are actively trying to kill him for breaking off. That part never showed up in the Adventurers League because no one knew it, but that was my headcanon. Other thing, my favorite phrase to use when I was playing him was crazy monk shit, because I could do just weird shit. Like I could jump off of buildings and be completely fine. I could run up walls. I could teleport, and all this stuff. So it was, yeah, I would just go crazy monk shit, and the DM would go crazy monk shit. So let's start with my stats. Strength was never my thing, but I didn't want it to be too low since there were things that were useful to have strength. Saving throws, once you reach a certain level in monk, I think it's 15. I might be wrong. You eventually become proficient in all saving throws. So I'm remarkably hard to get anything over on. Dex is my second highest. Most people go to Dex as their highest because that's how you do damage and hit things. And being a monk, that's really useful. And things like as a criminal, stealth is really useful for me. Acrobatics is really useful for me. And I think strength and dex might have been the built-in saving throws. I'm not sure. But yeah, I was really good at that stuff. I actually have a decent constitution, not because I rolled well. You actually can't roll in the Adventurers League. This used to be a 13, but I have a where are you? Oh, a belt of dwarven kind. It was actually, I think it was it was the first magic item I ever got. I think on the second adventure I played with him, I got the belt of dwarven kind. and I loved it because I was watching Critical Role at that point, and Grog has his belt of dwarven kind. The only thing is, I don't think I ever grew a beard with it. Like my character, he never had a beard because elves don't tend to have facial hair often. I also had this reincarnation thing I'll tell you in a second. So anyway, that's my dex. Con is pretty good because it helps to not get killed. I lowballed in intelligence simply because Aether is not stupid, as you'll see in a second here. But he's never been a studious person, which fits into his the idea that he couldn't use magic. Magic in D&D, especially the Forgotten Realms, wizards are basically scientists. They study magic. Like, they learn how to use magic just by studying it, experimenting with it. Like, they are these scientists of the D&D world. And so the low intelligence was basically a way to kind of confirm he had a natural affinity for magic that he just never learned to use, and he just never was someone that was very gifted academically. However, his wisdom, you'll notice, is at 20. I highballed wisdom and had it go up first because Aether was a stun monkey in combat. So having a really high DC to stun people with was really important. The higher I could get it, the more effective I was. So I souped up wisdom, and being an assassin, I made sure to have insight so I could read not only the people employing me, but also my marks I was going to assassinate. But being able to read someone, a lot of people don't realize just how useful it is to just be able to read someone when you're talking to them, especially in a tense situation. I naturally am very good at reading people, and I've been in some very, very dangerous situations where being able to read someone was gave me the ability to know before, give me just a little early warning when they were going to try to hurt me, and that made a rather big difference in me surviving. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of the ability to read people. And then charisma. He lied a lot. So even with a 12 charisma, he was trained in deception and did pretty good. And you can see with a 20 wisdom and being trained in perception, my passive perception was nuts. Nothing got past me. It was great. Don't care about this. I had to choose an instrument for something I can't remember. I chose flute, and I can't remember why. But thieves' tools were massively useful. I basically used to give rogues run for their money because I could just go. And I could pick locks almost as well as them. I could stealth almost as well as them. But I could move twice as fast being a monk. So, I used to... I actually got sat at a table once with this rogue that wanted to but basically be an edgelord. And he tried stealing from the party and stuff like that, which you can't do in the Adventurers League. But he tried doing it, or didn't steal from the party. We found gems, and he tried to hide them so he could keep them himself. And he tried to get away from me, and I'm like, no, this is not happening. And so he's like, well, I'll use my my cunning action, and I'll be faster than you. I'm like, no, you won't. I can shadow step further than you can run on your disengage, and still run faster than you. So you're never getting away from me. Just show us what's in the bag. And he got kind of pissed at me. But by the end of the adventure, we were working together. I can't remember why I chose Draconic. I think it was just because it was magical. Here's the armor class again. Monks get to add their dex and wisdom to their armor class, and I have an Ionian stone of protection. So I had a good armor class. I also have a feat I'll show you in a second that made it a great armor class. Strong initiative. There's that crazy monk shit speed right there. And then yeah, being level 17, it's actually not that hard to have triple digit hit points as a monk, and having the belt of dwarven kind just shot it up. So I was kind of hard to kill. Not that helped me when I was a lower level, because I used to die a lot because I didn't understand how to play the character, which is why I do the in-depth D&D guides. Here's my weapons and stuff. This is how I track key and everything. Actually, to type it out with these zeros, because when I'm playing, I can just fill it in with a pencil, and then anytime we take a short rest or a long rest, I can just erase it again, and that way I'll always know how many key points I have, and I never have to count tick marks or anything like that. I just go, how many circles do I have? Oh, I can do this. And yeah, that was my bread and butter. I used other thing, like I used flurry of blows a lot, but it was stunning strike was my thing. Now you'll notice I'm a wood elf here. The second adventure, remember this second adventure, I got thrown off a cliff by a yeti. My character died. It was a 200-foot drop. So he took so much damage. I think I was only like level 6 at that point, 6 or 7. I took so much damage that I insta died, and we had a level 10 druid with us, so he reincarnated me, and that's when I became a wood elf. Which was good because the high elf gave me a bonus to intelligence that didn't help me, but being a wood elf gave me a bonus to wisdom, which was super useful. So I liked that. And then other stuff. This is all the class stuff I could do. Tongue of the Sun Moon was really cool because I could understand all languages. And speak all languages, so that was super fun. No one could ever get one over on me. And something that a lot of people don't think about with monks is that they can hear everything. Run on. I just wrote in run on walls. It's actually part of an earlier ability that I can't remember. I'm surprised I don't have it on here. But yeah, I could just run on walls because of my speed. It was super fun. And then Shadow Step was my other thing I used a ton. All the time I'm just bamfing around and stuff like that. It was super fun. I actually try to make teleporting characters in other games just because I love that teleporting stuff. I think it's just super fun. And then the defensive duelist was the one feat I took specifically because at lower levels I was getting killed all the time. I had like a 16 armor class, and I was just getting my ass handed to me. The defensive duelist basically means if you have a finesse weapon in one hand and nothing in the other, which he always fought with a single sai, which was just a dagger that I called a sai for mechanics reasons. So he always had that. And so the defensive duelist, you could use your reaction to add your proficiency bonus to your armor class, which back then I think was only 4, but now it's 6. So my armor class can be as high as 26 when I need it, and doesn't cost anything other than my reaction. So yeah, I got pretty hard to kill. This is all my stuff. Due to running some epics and things like that, I had potions of supreme healing. And one of the things that used to happen in the Adventures League doesn't happen anymore because they screwed up money and everything. Was everyone would buy tons of potions of healing. I know people that would generally run with like 20 of them on them, and it was basically they would use potions of healing. One, so that if they ever fell unconscious, someone could just pop up a potion of healing in their mouth, and they'd instantly be conscious again without needing a healer or something like that to do that. And then if you didn't have enough time for a long rest, you could down 6 potions of healing and be in pretty good fighting order. So I always kept a ton of those, and then the superior and supreme I actually got from adventures. I had a trident of warning, which I couldn't wield. I was not trained in tridents, but I would just keep it on my back because weapons of warning are crazy useful. I could never be surprised anytime something bad was about to happen. It would whine, basically. Like, it was so useful, even though I couldn't fight with it. Actually, the adventure that I got it on, it came to the end of the adventure, and there was this magic item in it. At that point, I think it might still be. The more magic items you had, the less chance you would be able to get magic items in the future. Because basically the way it worked was at the end of an adventure, if there was a magic item you found, whoever had the lowest number of magic items would be able to get it. And if they were, let's say 2 people that only had one, they would roll for it. So all these people just saw Trident they couldn't use. Nobody in the Adventures League used Tridents, so nobody wanted it. And I said, I'll take it. It's the best thing I ever did. I had an Ionian Stone of Regeneration for this same reason. I'm not attuned, or Aether's not attuned to it anymore. This is simply because it's worthless. You gain like 4 hit points or something every hour. But I got an Ion Stone of Protection from running. I ran an epic, and I mean the whole epic, not like a table at an epic. I organized the entire epic, and because of that, I was able to select a magic item from the adventure and give it to one of my characters. So I took the Stone of Protection because I want Aether to be tougher to kill. Then the Flameburst side. In Storm King's the Thunder, they added runes that you could get, and I got what was called an Ild rune, which is a fire rune. And if you put it on a weapon, what would happen is when you hit with that weapon, it would do extra fire damage. So I call it a Flameburst sai. It was just a dagger with the Ild rune on it. But it was cool, and it was just something I could have for my character. And then the second thing, the spell save DC is my monk's saved DC. I don't need this spell attack bonus at all. But yeah, whenever I stunned, they had a DC 19 con save they had to make. So yeah, it was rough trying to get out of one of my stuns. Um, and then this. Um, I forgot completely that part of the Way of Shadow Monk um, is you got Shadow Arts, which was basically all this magic stuff. All this magic took 2 key to cast, but this was just a cantrip that I completely forgot I had. And I never used it, which sucks because a minor losing cantrip can be super useful for someone that's an assassin. So, but the rest of the stuff I used constantly. The dark vision I used a ton, simply because it lasts 8 hours. It's not concentration. So at the beginning of an adventure, right before we would leave somewhere, I would ask, "Hey, anyone not have dark vision?" And anyone that didn't, I would cast dark vision on them, and then we would rest for an hour to do a short rest. I'd have all my key, and they'd still have 7 hours of dark vision. So that was massively useful. It meant we never had to use torches or lights or anything like that, which was also good because most of my abilities required me to be in dim light or darkness, so torches were a no-no. Pass Without a Trace I use constantly as well. Plus 10 to stealth checks meant at level 17 I had a plus 20 to stealth checks. It was awesome. Like I said, I think my highest roll was a 36 once stealth check. I just disappeared from existence. It was great. And then Silence was useful in a couple really key battles. We had one where we were fighting a spellcaster who was on the back of a wyvern. And so what happens is one of one of the people in my party went over and trapped the wyvern so it couldn't fly. And I cast silence on the area, so the spellcaster was completely useless because what she was supposed to do was fly around on the wyvern and rain down destruction, and she was actually supposed to escape at the end of the fight. Um, that didn't happen. Like I said, we almost one shot her wyvern and cast silence on her so that she couldn't get away or go anywhere. And we had her down and dead in like I think 2 or 3 rounds. The dungeon master literally just said, "I give up. You all win. Fuck it." It was really funny. And then the darkness I used various times. I think the most interesting one, the DM we were playing under was cheating, breaking AL rules, and he put Bodox and vampire spawn into an adventure where they didn't exist, just to try and kill the party, which again was against AL rules. But Bodax have this thing where if you can see them, they do damage to you, and if they can see you, they do damage, but they can't see in the dark. So I just cast the darkness, so we could kill the Bodax without dying, because the whole party was dying. And so the DM magically gave them blind sight, I think it was, and also gave the vampire spawn blind sight as well, or true sight, one or the other. They could see through magical darkness. It was bullshit, but yeah, I used the darkness from time to time because it was just useful. Anyways, so that's Aether. I really miss playing him. I had a couple friends in the Adventures League that I would play Aether with constantly, to the point where their character and mine started having like side stories that we would just create on our own about our bonds and stuff like that. It was really cool. For everyone that thinks the Adventures League is all about min maxing and stuff, that there are a lot of people that do that. That's one of the reasons I got so comfortable dealing with min maxers, because I dealt with them all the time running games for the Adventures League and conventions. But Aether had a story. He had allies that he adventured with regularly. I role played him a ton in the Adventures League, and I even had games not with Aether, with another one of my characters, where he was a barbarian, and we got through the entire 4-hour adventure. Never. I made one attack in the entire adventure. Everything else, we either talked our way out of it, or found ways to sneak around and do stuff like that. It was the most fun adventure I had in the Adventures League. And it was a table of DMs, so we were all really good. And we had a blast. It was so much fun. Anyway, that's all for this video. I'm going to try and get another video out tonight, just to try catching up. But anyway, that's all for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Oh, in the comments, let me know if you have a favorite character you've played or you want to play. If you want to do this, the daily December thing, or even if you just want to make one video, show us your character sheet. Make a digital version of it however you want. They've got, this is a form fillable PDF that I actually got from Wizards. I think you can still download it. But show us your character sheet. I've had a lot of fun kind of reliving the joy of playing as Aether. So anyway, again, that's all for me today, and I'll see you guys next time. All right? Bye.